Okay, this is the Unit 5 review packet. We're going to start with topic 13A. So question number 1, I'm simplifying these, so I have to remember my exponent rules. So remember when I'm multiplying, I'm going to do number part times number part. So my number part here is -7. My number part there is -1. So I have -7 times -1, and that equals +7. So that's my number part times my number part. And then, if I have the same base when I'm multiplying, I keep the base. So my base is A, and I add the exponent. So 12 plus 3 is 15. So my answer here is 7A to the 15. And remember when you're doing these, if you don't remember the rule, sometimes it helps just to do 1 by expanding. So expanding A to the 12th, if I do A to the 12th times A to the 3rd. A to the 12th is writing A 12 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And A to the 3rd is writing it 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. So when you count up how many you have after you expand, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And that's how you get A to the 15. All right, next question. Again, I'm going to do my number part and my number part. So my number part here is -10 over -8. So I can reduce that as a fraction. First, negative by negative is a positive, so I know it's going to be positive. And both of these are even, so I can divide both of these by 2. So 10 divided by 2 is 5, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. So that simplifies my number part. So then I'm looking at my exponents. I have the same base. My base is x. And I have 23 and 33. It is bigger on the bottom, which means my x is going to go on the bottom. So I have 33 minus 23 is 10. So that gives me x to the 10. So remember, if I'm dividing, I keep the base and I subtract. And again, it's going to go where it's bigger. I have 23 here and 33 here. 33 is bigger, so it's going on the bottom. Okay. Next question. We have, again, here's our number parts. I have -2, 3, 3, and -10. So let's just multiply across to start with. So I've got -2 times 3, which is -6. And I have 3 times -10, which is -30. All right, now, anything to the 0 power is 1, so I'm just going to cross it off. I don't have any other a's here. And remember, you can only multiply if you have the same base. So these bases are different. I have a and I have b. They're not the same. So since I can't combine it with anything, I just have a to the 5th. And here, I don't have any other b's. But I'm not allowed to have negative exponents. So remember, the way to get rid of a negative exponent is to move it. This one's on the top, so I'm going to move it to the bottom, and make sure when you move it, you remember to turn that for positive. So now I still have to simplify these numbers, right? I have -6 over -30. I can reduce that to be 1 over 5. So I've got 1 over 5, a to the 5th on the top, and b to the 4th on the bottom. You don't have to write the 1. You could just write a to the 5th over 5b to the 4th. Okay, let's try the next one. So we've got, oh, I was doing them in the wrong order. Oh well. We're on number 2 now. We did number 1, 3, and 5, and now we're on number 2. So on this one, with my parentheses, I need to distribute. So before I even distribute this, though, I am going to move it. I don't like to deal with negative exponents, and there's multiple ways to do this, but I'm going to change this to make this a positive exponent. So I'm going to take this whole thing, 4a to the -6, b to the 3rd, I'm going to move it to the bottom and turn that exponent positive. And then I still have 3ab to the 3rd. So all I've done so far is make this right here positive, so I've moved it to the bottom. So now I'm going to distribute. So down here, this 2 gets distributed to everything in the parentheses. So I have 1 over 4 squared. So 4 squared is 16. Here, a to the negative 6 squared, power to a power, means I'm going to multiply. So negative 6 times 2 is negative 12. And then my last one, I have b to the 3rd squared. So again, power to a power means I'm going to do 3 times 2 is 6. So b to the 6. And then this, I'm going to distribute that 3. So I've got 3 cubed, which is 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27. A cubed, b cubed. All right, now, I still have some simplifying to do here. We're not allowed to have negatives. So I'm going to change this and move it to the top right now before I even simplify anything else. I'm going to turn this into a to the positive 12 and cross it off down here. And now I'm going to look at what I've got. So number-wise, I have a 27 and a 16. So 27 over 16. All right, going on the top, a to the 12 times a cubed. Same base, I keep the base and I add the exponent. So 12 plus 3 is 15. And then here, I have b to the 3rd divided by b to the 6th. So it's, again, same base, but I subtract when I'm dividing. And it is bigger on the bottom, which means my answer goes on the bottom. And 6 minus 3 is 3. It's bigger by 3. I'm going to look quickly at my fraction here and see if I can simplify. I've got 27 over 16. This can be divided by 2, 4, and 8, but this cannot. So that's as simplified as it is going to get. So that is my answer. All right, last one in this section. I've got another multiplication problem, and I'm going to move my negatives right away because I don't like dealing with negative exponents. So I'm going to take this x to the negative 4, and I'm going to move it to the bottom and say x to the positive 4. I'm going to take this y to the negative 3 and move it to the bottom and say y to the positive 3. All right, now I'm going to multiply my number parts. I've got 14, 4, and 2. So 14 times 2 is 28, and then I have a 4 on the bottom. All right, so here I actually have the same thing on the top and the bottom. I have y to the 7th and y to the 7th. And again, there's multiple ways to do this problem. I'm going to cross this out. If you have the same thing on the top and the same thing on the bottom of a fraction, they cancel. So those are gone. So now I have on the top z squared, and on the bottom I have x and x to the 4th, so keep the base, add the exponent. So 1 plus 4 is 5. I have y to the 1 and y to the 3rd, keep the base, add the exponents, and I don't have any other z's. All right, now we're going to keep simplifying. My number part and my number part. 28 divided by 4 is 7. And then the only thing I have the same base of are the z's. I have 2 z's here and 5 z's here. So I'm dividing, which means I'm going to subtract, and my z is going to go where I have more. I have more on the bottom. So I've got z, 5 minus 2 is 3. And then I didn't do anything with the x's or the y's, so I'm just going to rewrite them. So my answer is 7 over z cubed, x to the 5th, y to the 4th. And multiplication is commutative, so order does not matter. So you could have the x first, then the y, then the z. You could have the y first, then the z, then the x. So again, multiplication is commutative. That means that the order does not matter.